Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Francis Panula, and I'm a certified recovery specialist, aka recovery coach, and a personal development coach based outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I've taken a couple weeks off because I'm getting settled in a new organization that I work with here in Philadelphia, as well as have my own business on the side. And in coming back, we've been talking a little bit about acceptance and getting into some of the emotional side of dealing with some stress management, anxiety, different things like that. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit and go with something kind of more personal development, but I find in my recovery coaching jobs, a lot of times time management might be something that people need assistance with. So I figured it's something that we could all benefit from a little bit of, even if you're familiar, maybe it's a refresher of some concepts of time management that might be helpful for you. So to start, so think about making a schedule. And if you don't already have a schedule that you keep for yourself, personally, I keep a schedule. Helps me remember appointments I have with clients. I set timers for things. I have multiple schedules. I have a work schedule. I have my own personal schedule. I have a schedule where my bills are due, things like that. And I personally like electronic schedules because I like the reminders. They can pop up my phone, my watch, etc. Other people like paper schedules, like keeping a calendar or daily planner on them so that way it keeps track of their appointments that way. So it's up to you. I mean, I think sometimes, everybody has their preference, but if you're a very tactile person, having a paper schedule can be beneficial. But for somebody like me that needs the electronic reminders, then sometimes the electronic can be more helpful. So when we're filling out our schedules, let's some things that we think about, especially like what are your commitments, the things that you really, need to or are kind of required to do just to keep things going in your life. And these might be things like work, like school if you're a student, travel time. Because suppose that if you commute an hour to work each morning. Then, in addition to the actual work schedule and getting ready for work, we're gonna have to count for that travel time on either end. And I like to give myself a bit of a conservative estimate of travel because you never know, there could be traffic delays, accidents, different things like that. That could set you back. And my experience working at a job, if you're walking in 15 minutes late and you're like, oh, traffic was bad, that's usually not acceptable. So I kind of try and plan for the days that traffic's poor. And maybe I get there a little bit early and I can use that time, maybe that 15 minutes, that 10 minutes to perhaps, work on something else or accomplish something else for myself while I'm sitting there. But we'll get into that as well. So besides that, for parents, suppose you have pick up, drop off of your kids, taking them to the bus stop or appointments, your child's commitments. So on your calendar, you'd actually put like if they have soccer practice, these different things like that. They have a dentist appointment. And since we're using the calendar now, then when you're at these appointments, or at these events, you can write them down in your calendar so that way you remember, oh, my kid actually has a school project doing this day, or they have practice this day, they have a game this day, and you already be familiarized. And I imagine, for parents with their own schedule, with their children's schedule, it's a lot to keep track of. So the more that we can be organized and have these things written down somewhere, just the easier it is to remember and try and just keep it all in your head, and go off a schedule like that and remember. Same thing with, their homework, bath time, these different things. Like you can put it on your schedule just to kind of get an idea of where your time's going at different points of the day. Because, if we don't kind of plan for these things or account for these things and you're wondering, why you're falling short or, why you're not able to get the things done for yourself. In addition, this is what we're kind of working towards. So how can we organize this and maximize our time better so that way we can accomplish these things and have the time for ourselves as well. Next is self-care. So that'd be like, what are the times at the end of the night, beginning of the morning that you have to yourself just to relax, de-stress, these different things like that? What does that look like for you? Is there any time for self-care, and free time, which is necessary? And free time can be your self-care. I think it's important to have some downtime for yourself that you can do nothing but, prioritize just joy, relaxation, fun, rest, whatever it is for yourself, in addition to sleep, trying to block out that, even put it on your schedule. Like, okay, I'm going to sleep on this night from 10 to 6, from 11 to 7, whatever your hours kind of look like, but try and get that 6 to 8 hours if possible. and just rolling right along. So it's looking like an example day, my current kind of typical schedule. Let's say I wake up at 6 a.m. Now I give myself next get ready an hour and a half. I like to sit there. I watch some different videos and things in the morning, drink some coffee. Like, I really enjoy that time in the morning that is nice and quiet. I can listen to birds chirp. I really get a lot out of that. So for me, that's actually part of my self care, is to give myself more time. If I were to wake up and have to get ready and rush out of the door in half an hour, to actually add to my stress on a daily basis. So next, let's say drive to work. Luckily, I only work, actually about 20 minutes from my house, but I give myself a half an hour once again, just in case, there's a traffic delay, things like that. In Pennsylvania, they're always working the roads. There's always kind of traffic detours and delays and stuff like that. So give myself that extra time. And just even a walk from the parking lot in, to your office to go punch your time. If you're a person that you're 5 minutes late every day, that could be the time that you're not really counting for, is the time from your car to where you're actually clocking in. Next, put your work time on there. And then I even have in parentheses a calendar for that, because, like I said, I have my own personal calendar and then my own work calendar with all my appointments at, at the office and things like that, an Outlook. So I have a Google Calendar for my own stuff. I have an Outlook calendar for my work stuff, but learning to use these different ones and integrate them if possible. Next, I personally, after I get done work, I go to the gym. So it takes me, once again, about like 20-25 minutes to travel to the gym. So let's say get in there, get settled in. I'm there for like an hour and a half or so, then give myself the time to drive home. And then, I'm home, let's say 6:45. And then, let's say it gives me 15 minutes to heat up dinner, which I food prep and things like that, which we'll get into to try and just maximize my time. So if I'm sitting there relaxing, eating dinner for half an hour, and then my self-care, from 7:30 to 10. And that self-care can look different on any given night of the week. Maybe I'm playing video games, maybe I'm working on prep for a video, things like this. Maybe I'm just thinking about things I need to do for my own, personal life or work and things like that, business stuff, and then I personally try and give myself 8 hours of sleep every night. I don't actually sleep that full time. I wind up waking up before my alarm goes off. But by doing that, say I sleep 7.5 hours a night and I schedule myself 8. By not waking up to an alarm, it's not interrupting my circadian rhythm. So then once I wake up and I feel good waking up, after like 7.5 hours, I'm not being interrupted, and I'm sleeping those full cycles. So that's just an example day, and, think about for yourself what that might look like. And next, so make appointments with yourself. And by this, sometimes it can be, suppose you have a dentist appointment you need to make, or a doctor's appointment, or a phone call that you need to make. I'll actually schedule that, so that way it says, okay, I actually did it today around 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, for me, then I'm going to film this video. So I tried to keep to that time. Even though it's Saturday, I could do this at a different point in time. I'm trying to keep to that time I schedule with myself. So it can be fun things for yourself. Okay, I'm going to go get my hair done, a haircut at 6 o'clock. Well, then maybe make the appointment. Now, in this case, maybe you're actually making an appointment. And in this day and age, if you make appointment places, it can actually add into your Google Calendar and things like that. And try to maximize your time. And I'd, talked about this, like, how can I accomplish, two things at once? So suppose I do get to work early and a place is open that I can call. Maybe I call then, or I send an email then. Or maybe I'd like to meditate in the morning and I haven't been doing that. I can take them 10 minutes to sit there and relax in the car, do a little bit of meditation, kind of mentally prepare for your workday. And speaking of preparation, I try and get things ready beforehand. So, on a Sunday night, I try and get things ready for my Monday, be ready for the week. So that way, if I have my laundry all done, in the weekend, then I'm not trying to accomplish it on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday night. If I food prep on the weekend, then I'm not trying to cook every single night. Then it takes me maybe 10 minutes to prep my food, sit down, relax to eat it, as opposed to having to actually cook the chicken, cook the different proteins that are going to take time to cook. And just to having things organized in general, I believe, just helps you streamline the process and get things done quicker. And honestly, if you can maximize your time and you're moving smoothly from one thing to the next, then you're spending less time transitioning. And that time transitioning and regaining focus and stuff, you actually lose time in that. speaking of multitask, finding your downtime. So where is the time that, you are kind of not busy now, suppose it's evening and you get home from work and you're kind of relaxing. Maybe if your person's doing laundry during the week, you're folding laundry while you're watching something, or maybe you're catching up on your shows while you're at the gym, doing some cardio, trying to do two different things at once. How often can I do that to try and accomplish more simultaneously? Also, be adaptable. I've tried to be rigid with different schedules, but schedules change. Different things come up. Suppose it's different seasons and you're a parent, and during this time of year you have practice on this night, and then sport changes and they do their practice on this night. So learning to kind of be adaptable and fit some of the other things in between, but also practice healthy boundaries with your time. Try not to spread yourself too thin, because if you wind up overcommitting to different things, some things are going to slack. So I find I'd rather spend my time and energy wisely to accomplish those things I'm trying to than to divide it too much and not be able to get any single thing truly done. So practice a healthy boundaries, and I wouldn't say the example your kids, but like don't let other people or things waste your time, because in my experience, the thing that you don't get back in this life is time. Time goes by like that. Weeks, months, years, these things fly by. So if I can on a daily basis try and use my time wisely and maximize it, then I feel that in that course of that year, I can look back and think, okay, I know I really try to do my best to accomplish as much as possible without overstressing myself. Because I think when you can look back and say, hey, I gave it a good go, I tried to implement these different strategies and different things into my life, then I think you can feel that because you gave it a good shot. For people that feel guilty if they don't, you can feel good about, the amount of time and energy you spent on it, if that makes sense. Because I think people tend to beat themselves up. You might look at the year like, oh, I wish I did that. I wish I did this. And, keeping towards the goals that you set for yourself. And this is part of it. If I set out for the year, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. That was one of the things. By scheduling it and keeping to my own appointment with myself, I'm more likely to attain this goal. So this is all part of the process. And I've thought about, how to lay these out in like a chronological order or some kind of order. But the fact is there's so many different parts and so many different facets to all this that it kind of all just, it doesn't really matter exactly when we talk about different concepts, because they all kind of fit together. And each time that we take a new concept and put that puzzle piece in and kind of connect it to the other ones, we're just filling out the larger picture. And I find even in my own work and my own study, that's what it is you get an idea of a concept of something, like a calendar or a schedule, and then you just keep filling it out the details more and more and ironing out the details till you have a broader concept of it, and you get more familiar with it, and then you can work with on your own and adjust it to how you like it. And maybe you like your schedule like this, and you like this app for your calendar, and you like this. Like once you're at that point, you're already far along with the process. You're already implementing it, and now you're customizing it to yourself. And if we can get you there in all these different areas, phenomenal. Suppose your workouts, you're making your own workouts and you're designing them, for your commute. I personally choose a way that I feel is a safer route, but gives me more time than taking a route that maybe takes a highway or something, a dangerous part of Philadelphia on the road to drive through and get there quicker. And last but not least, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful, and I do have my own coaching business as well, Premium Personal Development. And, if anybody's interested, feel free to check out the website, www.premiumpersonaldevelopment.com, or you can email me. All my information will be in the description. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.